Roll call. Toth.
Here.
Oberdorf. Here. Eckel. Tinney.
Here.
Owen.
Here.
Heben.
Here.
Reynolds.
Move to excuse Ms. Reynolds.
Second.
All those in favor of excusing Ms. Reynolds, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Is there a motion to approve the minutes for the March 10th, 2025 regular council meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of approving the minutes for March the 10th, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Oops, I should abstain too.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda for the March 24th, 2025 regular council meeting?
Mr. Mayor, sorry.
Go ahead, Chris.
I'd like to amend the agenda to add an executive session after audience remarks to discuss personnel.
Go ahead.
I need to add a Public Works Committee report.
And I need to add a public health and safety report.
Move to accept the agenda as amended.
Second.
All those in favor of accepting the agenda as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, Public Works.
Public Works Committee met on Wednesday, March 5th at the Zoning and Planning Annex. In attendance were Allison Murray, Caroline Zukowski Eckel, Bob Toth, Zach Owen, Daryl Igo, and Jeff Losey from Tetra Tech. Jeff Losey from Tetra Tech presented an in-depth evaluation of all the streets in Rossford. The committee was given the compiled information for review at the next meeting. Jeff also talked about maintenance options and development of a maintenance plan. Fire station renovation, the sleeping quarters are ongoing. Public Works moved to Wales Road, planned to advertise at the end of the month for bids. The committee discussed flip-flopping the layout because the northwest corridor always floods. Allison will provide plans for review. Also discussed was extending the exterior covered storage the entire length of the building. Demolition of Indian Hills. They are currently in the process of removing the residuals and developing a scope for demolition. The committee discussed perhaps partnering with Wood County Parks District to get the trails cleaned up. The desire for a facility like WW Night was also discussed. This is something the Rec Committee has been talking about. Maryland Drives project pre-construction meeting is next week. The contractor is Bergman. It is a drainage and pavement project. Rinker Court, plan to advertise for bids in April. The committee discussed the tight work area and asked for costs using bricks instead of pavement. Number 7, 2025 street plan. Hillcrest and Riverside will be full-depth reconstruction. Maryland Drive will be drainage and mill and fill. Rinker Court, mill and fill. Rest of Schreier, mill and fill. That should say between Lime City and Maybar for Rest of Schreier. Then there's going to be some alley restoration, and Riverview above the marina is going to be mill and fill. Future projects discussed. Bergen Superior Roundabout Project, Buck Glenwood Roundabout Project, Lime City 795 widening project. There was a leak at the marina. It was noticed on the Glass Hill. It's an NSG pump issue. They were made aware.
Any comments or questions? Okay. Public Safety.
City of Rossford Public Health and Safety. We met on March 17th, 2025 at 5 p.m. Attendees were Police Chief Kitzler, Assistant Fire Chief Kay, City Administrator Murray, Councilman Owen, and Councilman Toth. On the agenda, Chief Kitzler gave an update on the drone as first responder. Brink is currently working on the FAA waiver process to allow us to operate without visual line of sight for a radius of 3 miles. Agreement with the Perrysburg Township Police Department has been finalized. An agreement with Rossford School was to be approved at the 3/17 meeting. Delivery of the drone is expected late April. Chief Kitzler brought up the request for an interdiction officer that would be much like the SRO officers as a special assignment. There would be one officer assigned to the interdiction duties on I-75 and US 20 corridor to interdict drugs, weapons, money laundering, and retail theft that is not immune to this area. If approved, there would need to be a change to the current staffing level 137.12 composition, which was last voted on and approved 11/21/2021 as ordinance 2021-60. Cops and bobbers will again be scheduled with an early summer start. Assistant Chief K gave an update on the upcoming badge and promotion ceremony that was to take place on Thursday, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the Rossford Junior Senior High School Auditorium. 8 full-time members of RFD will be sworn in as the first full-time firefighters in the history of our department, with 4 members being promoted to the rank of lieutenant. The first full-time shift is to commence on March 24th, 2025 at 0800 hours. Improvements at the station are ongoing until improvements are completed. Staffing will consist of 4 on duty, with that rising to possibly 6 on duty when station is complete. The meeting adjourned at 5:37 p.m.
Chief Soroka, can you give us an update on the renovations at the fire station?
Yes, sir. I spoke with the building official, Rob Sendel, this past Friday, and I contacted him today. He's going to give us approval to go ahead with the renovations further, except keep some of the walls open that need a electrical inspector. But he's going to give us just to go ahead. He found some other things that we might have to work on below the dorm, but we can do that as we are finishing the renovation up on the second floor.
Thank you very much. Reports of the mayor and administrator. Allison?
I think, yes, I have a couple items tonight. This is a reminder that Maryland Drive, the Drainage and Pavement Improvement Project, the open house will take place tomorrow night, Tuesday, March 25th, from 4:30 to 6 at the Annex. So if you have questions about anything that's going to happen with the Maryland Drive project, please show up tomorrow between 4:30 and 6. There's no formal presentation. You can come in anytime between 4:30 and 6 and ask your questions, and there will be engineers there that will be able to answer them for you. The second item I have is that the city has received numerous requests to get docks early as tomorrow, this year, for fishermen who are unable to park in other communities along the Maumee River during this walleye run. So they wanted council to entertain a motion to allow boaters to dock early at the marina. So that would be up to council.
I went through Perrysburg today, and I don't know if it was just the wind today, though. It's very low.
Yes, it is.
Between here and there. So they want to take their mud boat, I mean, I don't.
So these are visitors, or not our people who have,
Nope, we would have to open it to everybody then early. We couldn't just say that those, but these are people that don't normally knock, or don't normally dock with us, and they would just do it for a temporary time. We do rent docks by the day, by the week, by the month.
Are our docks in?
They are.
Would we have to have a guard down there early?
We don't, normally, in a normal year, we do not have the guards
Well,
early.
we normally don't rent out early since Maumee's putting the kibosh to most of their stuff. So, I mean, that would be something we'd have to look into, I would imagine.
We could, the first month of every year, there's people down there boating, but yeah, we don't have.
Okay.
What council may want to consider is not renting out the docks, but just allowing people to launch there and then park their vehicles up in our parking lot.
Okay.
And if you choose to do that, I don't know, I'm not sure it'd be worth hiring somebody to charge for
Okay.
it. I mean, but council could choose.
it actually happens every year.
Yeah.
People use our ramp to launch their boats to go walleye fishing. So do we want to,
Well, they would want to know tomorrow.
Yeah, they're in
Yeah.
full force now. We can make a motion to let them launch.
I'm concerned about it from a safety standpoint. I mean, if the water's low, there's nobody down there, what happens if there's an accident or,
Yeah, to the,
I mean,
It's open
Chief.
it's open to launch, and people launch all year round, so it's open to launch. It always is, in the off-season.
So they've approached you to
Rent the docks.
rent the docks?
I'm okay with them launching for sure.
I am too.
The docking part,
I mean, I guess, so they come in and sign something that says, we
Yeah,
acknowledge
that's-
there's not a guard here, and,
that's a lot of extra work.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm more inclined with Councilman Owen that would incur, we could possibly incur some liability in that respect. but just having them launch.
They're already
That's
allowed
already-
to launch,
If they're
right?
already allowed to do that, then
Well,
I think what now, the docks are in, I think, early this year, aren't they? 'Cause-
They're in now.
Yeah, they're in now, but I think that before it was, even though they launched, there was no place to park because the docks were taking up the parking spots, but now.
But there's a lot of construction material in both those parking lots. The pipes and.
It's not a
sewer-
lot of time for
sewer
us to
pipes.
make a decision about liability
I mean,
and,
if they're already allowed to launch,
Yeah.
I would say, I would lean towards no, we don't do the dock rental.
Not renting, let them launch.
but
I'm
yeah.
fine with that.
invite them to launch, I guess.
And we
yeah.
don't need a motion for that, do we?
No, not if they're, I didn't realize that was a year-round thing that they were doing.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So launch only?
Yeah.
Okay.
Allison, do you have anything else?
I do. I would like to cede the rest of my time to Austin and Andy from Tetra Tech, and they're going to do a little information on Roundabout.
Andy, just state your name and address for the record, please.
Okay, Andy Langendorfer, 26721 Nawash Drive, Perrysburg, Ohio. I also work for Tetra Tech, and we've been working with the city for a number of years. Happy to be here. Thanks for having us. We're gonna do a two-part presentation. I'm gonna start off, and then Austin's gonna come in and talk a little bit about the project at Glenwood and 65. So a little bit about the project, well, a little bit of background on roundabouts. One of the big reasons why we're seeing so many roundabouts installed all across the country is they provide a lot of safety benefits. They're very good for pedestrians. They check all the boxes. When you go through and look for an improvement for an intersection, roundabouts, they just hit everything. So lower speeds, they reduce severe and fatal crashes. They're safer for pedestrians. And then if there are any incidents with pedestrians, since the speeds are slower, it's much better for those incidents. And then they have the refuge area for the pedestrians as they're crossing the street. So this is the one we did at 65 in Lime City. Everybody's familiar with that one. And you can see this is a nice aerial photo. Safety, we talked a little bit about safety, but in general, there's a 35% reduction overall with roundabout when you're converting it from a traditional signalized or a two-way or four-way stopped intersection. And one of the big things, we've got the intersection down here at Glenwood is signalized. So when you convert it to a roundabout, you take the potential for those very severe accidents out of the equation. So it's a 78% reduction. Next slide. You reduce the conflict points. So a typical intersection has 32 vehicle-to-vehicle conflict points. With a roundabout, that goes down to 8.
The red dots are the conflict points.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. So we talk about safety a lot, but one of the things I want to show on these next two slides, this is out in Golden, Colorado. This was a corridor that was a 5-lane, 2 lanes in each direction with a center turn lane. And this got converted to 4 roundabouts. So, we talked about the safety, but one of the things that we don't always talk about is the improvements to the corridor for the community. It reduces a lot of the emissions and the idling, saves 20 to 30,000 gallons of fuel saved per intersection per year, and then the economic impacts, and then it's also a nice gateway for the communities and special districts. So you can see the top photo is a before. That shows the 5-lane section, and then the bottom one shows how it was converted to roundabouts through the corridor. Next slide, Elsa. This is the same corridor. You can see the 4 roundabouts. It might be hard for you to see in the back, but this is a commercial district. It was safer for pedestrians. It's safer for pedestrians since they've installed these. And one thing I wanted to point on, they've seen a 60% growth in sales tax revenue because people enjoy being there. They like to interact and go across the street between the different businesses. So we talk about safety a lot, but there is a good economic benefit to roundabouts as well. And then we've had questions about roundabouts near schools. Are they safe? Yeah, they're all across the country. There's about 10,000 roundabouts in the United States now. Got some statistics on some of the states. North Carolina, for example, has 240 roundabouts. 85 are near schools. So they're near elementary schools, intermediate, junior high, high schools, universities. I went on Google and saw a ton of different areas where they've got them all around schools. Carmel, Indiana, if you've ever been there, has converted their entire city to roundabouts. They got 100 plus. I think they have maybe 1 signal left in the town. And then Wisconsin has 602 roundabouts. Many of those, are near schools as well, so. Next slide. Here's an example of one in Carmel at their high school. So they got 2 roundabouts in front of the school. This is just an area view. This is a before, looking at the school in the background. This was back, and then the new one, you can see the new roundabout and how it's, providing much more traffic calming situation. Next slide, Allison. Another view from one of the sides of the roundabout. They got a nice little district there. It's Arts District off to the school. And then that's looking back to schools on the left, and they've got some new buildings on the right. So just a really cool roundabout near a school that, for reference. Here's one down in central Ohio, near Columbus. This is Olentangy Orange. They got 2 roundabouts in front of their high school. One's at the main entrance. Here's looking towards the high school. This one shows a number of students. I think they may have had a field trip or something. There's a ton of students here when this was shot. Showing how they're crossing the street to the school. Here's another view of that. Okay, so talking about our 65 and Glenwood roundabout, this is a artist rendering that Edge Group put together, but it's not always required, but the RRFBs are additional safety features. So we're recommending putting those here since we're close to the school. It's just an added level of comfort and safety for pedestrians, but you can see what that will look like. Next slide, Allison. And then we also wanted to show a comparison of the current crossing and the future. So the future, as you can see, you got a lot of benefits with the safety of the refuge island. You have shorter distance to cross. Like I said, it's natural traffic calming feature as you come into the roundabout, traffic slowing down, and it makes it a much safer crossing for pedestrians. Okay, so we get some questions about traffic, and everybody's been through Maumee. So we wanted to let everybody know, peace of mind, that this is not Maumee. It's not the same situation. The comparison to traffic, Maumee has about 22,000 vehicles per day. That was in last year's traffic counts. Rossford has about just under 10,000. So when you look at going from a 2-lane to a 4-lane facility, it's about 18,300. So we're well below that. So Maumee is over, and that's why we see some of the issues in the peak periods, right around, the 5 o'clock peak period when everybody's getting off work. We projected, as part of the project, we project up 20 years when we design an improvement. And even with a decent and conservative growth rate, we're only at 12,650 after 20 years. So we're well below the 18,300.
Andy, can you talk about the nature of the difference in traffic between Maumee, crossing the river, and the type of traffic that's is it predominantly a freight route going across the river, and is it?
Well, they're both state routes, so yeah, there's similarities in that, but as far as, yeah, you're right, as far as the bridge there, you probably get maybe a little bit different type of traffic than you do here, and probably more trucks. But in general, we just look at the volumes, we're not really too concerned about what use is on it as much as the volume. I mean, we do look at trucks, but I just wanted to give everybody a good peace of mind that we're well below that threshold. Maumee is a totally different animal. So I guess with that, Austin, did you want to come up and talk about the?
You want to talk about the level of service?
Oh, yeah, we got one more slide. I'm sorry, one more on traffic. It might be hard to see here, but we've got a comparison of a signalized intersection, which is a current condition, versus the roundabout. And yeah, thanks, Allison. Zooming in. The takeaway is, I mean, there's a fair amount of numbers. Level of service is similar to being in school. A is good, and C and D and E are worse. Just want to let everybody know that with the roundabout, we have a much better overall performance and lower delays. So compared to the existing intersection we've got in the AM peak hour, there's a level of service of E and a large delay for the northbound Glenwood movement. So this has been, we've checked this through traffic. We got traffic modeling. Just another, peace of mind that what we're doing is not only going to be better for safety, traffic calming, but it's also going to be the most efficient intersection from a, vehicle standpoint. Yeah,
So
Caroline?
that lane, the northbound Glenwood Road, goes from an E to a D?
Well, no, it's if we look at projected, 20-year traffic, in the AM peak hour, yeah, it would be an E, which is 68 seconds of delay.
Right.
Which is unacceptable. D may look, I mean, obviously it's not as good as A, B, and C, but a D is acceptable through traffic, the traffic industry and norms. That's not considered failing, and you can see it's only a 27.1, and that's the absolute worst case at the intersection. That's going to be that small period in the morning, in your peak hour. So we're actually improving it quite a bit over a signalized intersection by putting the roundabout in. But you can see the averages between the intersection, just overall, for the peak hours is much better for the roundabout. Okay, and with that, I'll turn it over to Austin and talk a little bit more about the project specifics.
Thanks, Andy. So I'll just do the same introduction. Austin Danton, address 653 Sandstone Drive, Perrysburg, Ohio. So serving as one of the project managers for this project. So just to kind of piggyback off of what Andy said, safety is paramount. That's our number one concern. Safety, making sure that the intersection functions better than what currently is out there is secondary. And then, going down that line of, okay, well, understanding that this is in the heart of Maumee, this is the heart of downtown, we have the school right there. So, the next step to this was, how do we make this a destination feel for the city of Rossford? How can we make something vibrant for the community? How can we make this a more walkable, pedestrian-friendly, family gathering area for the community and make it a destination as well, not just for the community, but for also people outside of the community to come and visit. And as someone with 3 young kids, having something that is very friendly, it's walkable, it's safe, is something that really appeals to myself, and why we really wanted to incorporate these enhanced safety features and figure out a way to make this a more walkable, friendly community, especially with the door being located right here as well. It just kind of makes all the sense in the world of how can we really build this out to the best of our ability to make this, a key feature point for the city of Rossford. And just so you're aware, the renderings in here, like the center island, we have, I think, a waterfall feature in there for the center island. These are all just renderings, just concepts. This is not necessarily what's going to be placed. The area kind of around it, you can see Danny's over there, kind of to the left-hand side. The school grassed area and their detention pond to the bottom right. The city-owned parcel just at the top right that we're looking to make into kind of a park area. And again, just trying to enhance the idea of making this a pedestrian-friendly and kind of a destination point for the city of Rossford. So one of the big things that we've talked about and we got a decent amount of feedback on was the parking and what's going to happen with the parking once this project were to go in. And so just to let you guys know, so we're losing approximately 14 spaces. We're losing 14 on the north side, 7 on the north side, 7 on the south side. And because of that, what Allison and what the city of Rossford is looking at is how do we add on parking to either the 65 corridor, on-street parking, or adjacent parking to 65. So this is a concept that Edge has come up with. This is just north of Glenwood. Actually, this is between Osborne and Glenwood. And just showing if further lane reductions, if you were to reduce it down to 1 lane between that area, looking at additional parking, not just to the outside of 65, but also on the interior of 65. Making the median larger, grassed area for more pedestrian-friendly walkability and for amenities to be placed there. I know something that Allison had requested that we're absolutely going to be doing for all of the street lights that we're going to be putting in, same type of feature carrying through the downtown 65 corridor, but putting in receptacles just so we can plug in street lights and audio and do kind of unique things to the downtown area. So again, this is just a concept, but we're looking into, and all of this to say, we're looking into the parking along the 65 corridor. And there's a lot of different alternatives and things that we've discussed, but this is just one option to increase that parking along 65. And again, just some additional renderings of what that potentially could look like, so you could kind of click through these, Allison. Okay, so going to the actual construction of this, so this is kind of, I guess, our engineering drawing of it with an aerial background on it. I guess for construction, we have to submit our final plans on August 15th to ODOT. The current construction is, or current plan is for a sale of November 14th, awarded in December, and then construction would begin following the 2026 school year. It would be constructed during the summer. There would be a 60-day closure period of the intersection. We do have local, state, and kind of residential detours in our plan, so we can continue to provide access to all the businesses at this intersection and around the intersection. Let's see, is there anything else to add? I think that's about it on this slide. We can go to the next one. So just in summary, we're very, very aware that safety is a huge, huge necessity with this project and with the amount of pedestrians and the kids and being adjacent to school. So, as Andy said, safety's paramount, and putting in a roundabout here obviously has all the safety benefits that Andy's mentioned. Putting in RFBs for all the pedestrian crossings just to give more lights and kind of bring and draw attention to pedestrians crossing the road. Also talked about, you can kind of see on the very bottom of the screen, designated crosswalk at Glenwood. That's kind of being shown just north of the school's driveway. It might end up being better and kind of updating the intersection crossing at Beach Street and making that a kind of designated school crossing area. But again, I think a lot of the things we're trying to accomplish are being done with the safety for pedestrians, for vehicular, and for, again, trying to make this as much of a destination type feel and something that the city and representatives can be excited about. So other than that, I think that's about it. So
Thank you, Austin. Go ahead, Caroline.
Can you go back to the slide that shows, wait, no, forward one more. That one.
yes.
Those two driveways at the bottom of the screen, how are they ever going to get in or out of that? Because that's like in the roundabout.
You talk
The private residences.
just south. So that's just south of the splitter island for Glenwood. So there
Right.
wouldn't be any type of access restrictions for those
Except
drives.
traffic's continuous.
Well, it is continuous. However, because it's continuous, there will be more gaps in traffic, which the level of service and the delays have proven out through all of our studies.
Are we eliminating the stop sign at Beach Street, or is that
No, sir.
staying?
That's going to stay there, and so that's one thing that we're talking about is, because coming out here, we see what the school, or I should say school opening is, and kids and crossing, and it's chaos, and we're aware of the current situation. And City of Rossford, I know, is, I think, designating just under $100,000 for resource officers to try and enhance safety, because there's really nothing out there right now to help with that. So in regard to that crossing, whether it would be to improve the Beach Street intersection to provide, maybe have a crosswalk guard there and make that more of a designated school crossing, because I know, there's a lot of parents who turn on Beach Street and let their kids out and cross right there. So, we're looking into ways to add an additional designated crosswalk as well.
Our comparative roundabout, the first one we put in at Colony and 65 and Lime City, those first two driveways right there have issues now getting out of. I mean, they're really the only people that ever complain about it is that they can't get out of their driveway. And they do fly, I mean, the cars fly through there, so you can't back out.
Are you talking about those drives just south on Glenwood? Is that where you're referencing?
Those are the two I'm concerned about. I'm talking about the roundabout we already have at the top of Colony,
Okay.
the first one.
You talking about just north of the 65 intersection on Colony, those first two driveways?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I guess I would need to take a look. I can't speak.
Well, Caroline, the nice thing with the roundabouts is it will entice slower speeds. So if there are any issues currently out there, with it being signalized, the roundabouts will just enhance slower speeds.
No, I'm talking about the driveways at the current roundabout on Colony. And, when you come off of River Road, that first one, when you hit there, those first two driveways are hard to get in and out of, and these look equally as close, if not closer.
What, I guess, and you say hard to get out of, is it a visual obstruction? Is it a grade obstruction? What's?
I think it's visual and speed.
Well, the route, like Andy kind of said, the roundabout does reduce the speed, so if it was an issue, in my opinion, it would probably have been exacerbated by a signalized intersection.
No, it wasn't an issue when it was signalized, and now it's an issue with the roundabout.
Well, it reduces the speed if people are driving their 15 mile per hour that is supposed to be in there.
Right.
If they're barreling through there or driving straight through it, like sometimes they do, that might be an issue.
Yeah, statistically, it's safer. So I know you can always have, maybe there's a peak period when they can't get out, or they have trouble. They're gonna have the same situation. So as far as that driveway go, we're not making it any worse. So it's just, they're close to the intersection. There's peak periods where they just gotta, kind of manage that. But we're not making it better.
From a timing standpoint, what's the overall project timeline?
Well, I guess we're wrapping up design this year, and then construction will be next year. And like Austin said, it'll be that period after the school's out. The ideal thing when you're doing a roundabout is, especially when you're close to a school or it's on a school route, do it in the off-season. So it'll be a 60-day closure. Austin mentioned we've got, some, not just the required state detours, the state route. We've got local detours. And then we also have a plan to maintain business access. So we've got a little turnaround so you can come down Superior, do a U-turn, take it to the intersection to still access the businesses.
There will be a full shutdown during
It'll be a full
construction.
shutdown, but we're gonna provide access as close to the intersection as possible, so it'll be very minimal impacts.
Anyone else? Okay. Correspondence?
Nothing, Mayor?
No.
Okay, I have several pieces of correspondence. The first one, though, is one that I gave you a copy of in your packet from Guten Tag Law Limited, and it's I won't read the whole thing, but it was addressed to Attorney Heben. They're requesting a transfer of a Beer Ohio carryout liquor permit, and it requires the city to agree to their application, so.
Transferring in or transferring out?
They're gonna, because there are no beer permits available here, they're gonna transfer one from Dayton, Ohio, up to here.
It's for the quick trip.
Gotcha.
Do you need a motion?
Yeah.
A motion to approve the Guten Tag application for a liquor license transfer?
Second.
Is there anyone in the audience that has a problem with us passing this evening, or any questions in regards to it? No.
All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's one piece, Mayor. The second one is a letter that was addressed to Chief Kitzler. On behalf of the Ohio School Resource Officers Association Board of Directors and staff, I am pleased to inform you that the School Resource Officer Accreditation Program application submitted by Officer Wesley Sosi for professional SRO level has been verified and approved. Please join the Ohio School Resource Officer Association in congratulating Officer Sosi for 5 years of service in the SRO field, for completing the advanced school-based law enforcement training at their annual conference, and for his years of membership in the Ohio School Resource Officers Association. He will be presented a lapel pin and certificate at the annual conference, July 7th through the 9th at Kalahari Conference Center, Sandusky, Ohio. School resource officers are a very, very valuable asset to both the law enforcement agency and their community, and your SRO's accreditation validates that importance. The next one is a memo to Detective Perez from Lieutenant Ravel. It's a letter of commendation. Detective Perez, I was recently contacted by Officer Jody Johnson, who expressed how grateful she was for your professionalism and willingness to help by working the security detail for the OSHA District Wrestling Tournament on February 28th and March 1st. Among other compliments, Officer Johnson stated, "Your professionalism shined through and made the event run smoothly. I've had the privilege of working with you for a long time, so this comes as no surprise. Thank you for representing our police department in such a positive way and for all you do for the city of Rossford. Keep up the great work." Next one is a letter of commendation to Officer Brandon Dean from Lieutenant Ravel. Officer Dean, I wanted to thank you for your help at the OSHA District Wrestling Tournament on February 28th and March 1st. Officer Johnson told me you were very helpful during the entire event and volunteered to work in the parking lot, the least popular post due to the weather. Officer Johnson said you thought outside of the box to help direct traffic and proposed ideas that could help with parking for future events. Thank you for taking the initiative to suggest improvements and for working hard to make this very busy event a success. And the final piece, Mayor, is a notice from the Ohio Department of Commerce Division of Liquor Control. This goes out to all legislative authorities. You have the opportunity to object to a renewal of a retail liquor permit up until June 1st, and this applies to all retail permits that sell alcoholic beverages in your political subdivision, they all expire on June 1, 2025. And if you want to, you would have to submit a resolution objecting to the renewal of any certain establishment.
Thank you. Introduction of ordinances. Is there a motion to read ordinance 2025-16 by title only?
Second.
All those in favor of reading by title only, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 2025-16 is an ordinance authorizing the purchase of 3 Ford Explorer vehicles through the State of Ohio Cooperative Purchasing Program, waiving competitive bidding and declaring an emergency. This is the third reading.
Allison?
These are the vehicles that were requested from the fire department.
Gotcha.
Finance Committee did confer and approve to move forward with this.
Okay, well, we just need a first and a second.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Why are the vehicles on property if we did not authorize this payment in this ordinance?
So, in talking with Chief Soroka, there was a timing issue that if we didn't take possession of them by last Tuesday or the Tuesday before, we would lose them. So what we did was we accepted them pending council's approval. We have done that before in the past on other things. If council chooses not to approve, then we give them back.
For transparency, I just don't agree with that. I don't know.
Otherwise, I don't know how long would we have to wait, Chief, to get vehicles?
I understand that. This is not against the fire department. I, of course, want you, Chief, to have what you need to get started for this department. I've explained that to you many times. My problem is more the procedure handling of this. Does that make sense?
Caroline?
If that was the case, I don't know why council couldn't have been told. I think a little bit of transparency that, hey, this is on the agenda, it hasn't been approved yet, but we have a timing issue. You're going to see them show up in parking lots, so that we don't get phone calls that, hey, you guys didn't approve those cars yet, and here they are, and.
We didn't know about it until after the council meeting.
I know, but we all have emails and phones, and.
No one reached out to me that I know of.
I reached out to you.
And didn't I answer you?
I asked another question, and no, you did not respond to
Oh,
that
I'm
one.
sorry, I didn't see that you answered the second one.
Was
it, Rachel?
I just think
wanted to
that.
know why, if we were driving them, if we weren't 100% sure we were paying for them, because I was told we were driving them. Somebody saw them on a run, is what I was told. So if we're not, what if we would have gotten in an accident? I'm just asking these questions procedurally. I'm confused, that's all. If we were going to turn them back in, let's just say we were going to vote no, what would happen if we got in an accident? We would be responsible for that truck, no matter whether we agreed to it or not?
No, that would be the owner of the truck's insurance would handle it.
If it was our fault that we got into the accident?
The fault doesn't matter. I mean, it's sort of like when periodically, before I buy a car, I take it for the weekend take it for,
So that's not a city liability, it goes on to our employees' liability?
No,
If they're
it
on a,
goes on
if
the-
they're on a run, if they're using this truck on a run, on a
No,
city
it
business?
goes on the city's insurance.
So we would pay for the trucks, let's just say, technically, we would pay for it then, before council approved if there was an accident. Our
Didn't-
fault.
Didn't we approve the appropriation for it?
Right, there's a difference,
Yeah,
correct?
For
Or else there
the,
wouldn't
they
be
put
an
it in the
ordinance.
budget, yes.
Okay.
An appropriation and an ordinance are two things. If we didn't need the ordinance, then why are we even having it? If the appropriation was enough. Transparency is
Well,
really
it's-
important to me, and I just
Yeah,
don't feel it
the
was very
appropriation's not enough. You have to move the money, so we still had to say yes to eventually
Right.
spend it.
I mean, I appreciate we need to move. I just think procedurally, again, I don't think it's transparent.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve 2025-16.
Second.
It is an emergency, Kevin?
No, motion to declare an emergency.
Second.
All those in favor of declaring an emergency, please say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Is there anyone in the audience that has a problem with us?
Don't have to do that. You
Oh.
have 3 readings.
Gotcha.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Vote on the motion to adopt ordinance 2025-16. Heben?
Aye.
Owen?
Aye.
Tinney?
Aye.
Eckel?
Aye.
Oberdorf? Toth.
Aye.
Is there a motion to read ordinance 2025-17 by title only?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of reading by title only, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 2025-17 is an ordinance amending the estimated resources of the city of Rossford for the year beginning January 1, 2025, and ending December 31, 2025. This is a second reading.
Chris?
Thank you. So, as council may recall, just as we maintain an expense budget, we also have to maintain a revenue budget. Now that the 2024 fiscal year is closed, we have a better idea of what our 2025 revenue will be. Currently, our revenue budget was established last summer around July, and with that extra data from 2024, this ordinance would essentially right-size our revenue budget to be more in line with 2024 collections. Happy to answer any other questions.
Finance Committee.
Go ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
I was just going to make a motion, so.
Oh, yeah, I'm just going to say, we did review this just in our previous meeting, so there's nothing jumping out, but
So Caroline, you motioned.
Motion suspension of the,
Second?
Yep.
Okay. We need a second.
no,
Sec-
third,
motion.
Third reading.
Second.
both of them.
That was a motion to suspend with the third reading, right?
Yeah.
You need to go out to the audience, Mayor.
Is there anyone in the audience that would have a problem with us passing this evening, or any questions in regards to it? No.
All those in favor of suspending with the third reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move adoption.
Second?
Vote on the motion to adopt 2025-17. Owen?
Aye.
Tinney?
Aye.
Eckel?
Aye.
Oberdorf? Toth?
Aye.
Heben?
Aye.
Is there a motion to read ordinance 2025-19 by title only?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor of reading by title only, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 2025-19 is an ordinance authorizing the city administrator to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the purpose of constructing a modern single-lane roundabout at the intersection of State Route 65, Glenwood Road, and Bergen Street, and declaring an emergency. This is a second reading.
Is there any comments or questions? Go ahead, Caroline.
I think this is a big issue in town, and I don't think we should suspend with any readings. I think we should go the full 3 readings.
All right, second reading. Is there a motion to read ordinance 2025-20 by title only?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of reading by title only, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 2025-20 is an ordinance authorizing the city administrator to work in conjunction with the Rossford Convention Visitors Bureau on the balloon and fireworks event and declaring an emergency. This is a second reading.
Caroline?
So there's been a need for the city to step in and help out with securing a fireworks vendor for the balloon and fireworks festival. And we think it's best handled with the city. So I'd appreciate if we could approve this so they can get on with securing a vendor.
Want to make a motion?
Motion to suspend with the third reading.
Second.
Anyone in the audience have a problem with us passing this evening, or any questions in regards to it? No.
All those in favor of suspending with the third reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move to declare an emergency.
Second.
All those in favor of declaring an emergency, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move adoption.
Second.
Vote on the motion to adopt ordinance 2025-20. Eckel.
Aye.
Tinney.
Aye.
Owen.
Aye.
Heben.
Aye.
Toth.
Aye.
Oberdorf.
Is there a motion to read ordinance 2025-21 by title only?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of reading by title only, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 2025-21 is an ordinance authorizing the administration to dispose of certain surplus property not needed for any municipal purpose and declaring an emergency. This is a third reading.
Third or second?
Second.
Second, I'm sorry.
Motion to suspend with the third reading.
Second.
Anyone in the audience have a problem with us passing this evening, or any questions in regards to it? No.
All those in favor of suspending with the third reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion to declare an emergency.
Second.
All those in favor of declaring an emergency, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move adoption.
Second.
Vote on the motion to adopt ordinance 2025-21. Heben.
Aye.
Owen.
Aye.
Tinney.
Aye.
Eckel.
Aye.
Oberdorf. Toth.
Aye.
Is there a motion to read ordinance 2025-22 by title only?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of reading by title only, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 2025-22 is an ordinance authorizing the purchase of 2 police vehicles through the State of Ohio Cooperative Purchasing Program, waiving competitive bidding and declaring an emergency. This is the second reading.
Go ahead, Bob.
These can be purchased with forfeited funds, Chief Kitzler?
One of them is being purchased with forfeited funds, correct?
Okay. Thank you.
Go ahead, Caroline.
Are these our normal cruiser upgrade purchases or yearly?
Yeah, we didn't get any last year.
Right, because, yep, the lead time was so long.
You want to make a motion?
Move suspension of the third reading.
Second.
Anyone in the audience have a problem with us passing this evening, or any questions in regards to it? No.
All those in favor of suspending with the third reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion to declare an emergency.
Second.
All those in favor of declaring an emergency, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move adoption.
Second.
Vote on the motion to adopt ordinance 2025-22. Eckel.
Aye.
Oberdorf. Aye. Toth.
Aye.
Heben.
Aye.
Owen.
Aye.
Tinney.
Aye.
Is there a motion to read ordinance 2025-23 by title only?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of reading by title only, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 2025-23 is an ordinance approving a plat authorized by section 1152.04 of the Rossford Municipal Code. This is a first reading.
Allison?
This was passed by the Planning Commission at the last Planning Commission meeting. This now goes to City Council for final plat approval, and this is for the new interstate court, which will be behind McDonald's. And I think the Whitsons are here tonight to answer any questions that you may have. But this has already passed through the
Right.
Planning Commission.
Is there a motion?
I'll move to suspend with the second and third reading.
This is the Taco Bell development.
Second.
Is there anyone in the audience that would have a problem with us passing this evening, or any questions in regards to it? No.
All those in favor of suspending with the second and third reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move for adoption?
Second?
Vote on the motion to adopt ordinance 2025-23. Toth?
Yes.
Oberdorf? Aye. Eckel?
Aye.
Tinney?
Aye.
Owen?
Aye.
Heben?
Aye.
Is there a motion to read ordinance 2025-24 by title only?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of reading by title only, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 2025-24 is an ordinance amending, this is supplemental number 6, the annual appropriation measure for the year beginning January 1, 2025 and ending December 31, 2025, passed by ordinance 2024-79. This is a first reading.
Allison?
It's Chris, actually.
I'm sorry, Chris.
Thanks. So just two items that we're accounting for in the budget this evening. The first item is funds to repair the lights and scoreboard at Veterans Park. And the second item is funds to replace the generator at the fire station. Happy to answer any questions.
Move to suspend the second, third readings.
Second.
Is there anyone in the audience that would have a problem with us passing this evening, or any questions in regards to it? No.
All those in favor of suspending with the second and third reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move adoption.
Second.
Vote on the motion to adopt ordinance 2025-24. Eckel?
Aye.
Tinney?
Aye.
Owen?
Aye.
Heben?
Aye.
Toth?
Aye.
Oberdorf?
Is there a motion to read ordinance 2024-25 by title only?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor of reading by title only, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? 2025-25 is an ordinance authorizing, approving the request to change authorization and amending the contract with Tetra Tech on the Jennings Road project inspection and declaring an emergency. This is the first reading.
Allison?
This is a change order for the inspection on Jennings Road. Tetra Tech had given us an original contract, and anytime you open up the roads and look at infrastructure that's 100 years old, you're going to find things that you haven't. So if you have specific questions, I'm sure they can answer it, but this would be a change order to that original contract.
Happy to answer any questions.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to suspend with the second and third reading.
Second.
Is there anyone in the audience that would have a problem with us passing this evening, or any questions in regards to it? No.
All those in favor of suspending with the second and third reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Declare ordinance 2025-25 an emergency.
Second?
I'm sorry, is that right? 25?
Yep.
Second?
All those in favor of declaring an emergency, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move adoption.
Second.
Vote on the motion to adopt ordinance 2025-25. Heben.
Aye.
Owen.
Aye.
Tinney.
Aye.
Eckel.
Aye.
Oberdorf. Toth.
Aye.
Okay, Mayor, this next one is very controversial.
Might have to go to 3 read. Introduction of resolutions. Is there a motion to read Resolution 20-25 by title only?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor of reading by title only, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 2025-05 is a resolution to approve the mayor's reappointment of Robert Wattrell to the Wood County Transportation Improvement District and declaring an emergency. This is a first reading. Our terms expire March 31st.
Motion to suspend with the second and third reading.
Second.
Is there anyone in the audience that would have a problem with us passing this evening or any questions in regards to it? No.
All those in favor of suspending with the second and third reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move to declare Resolution 2025-05 an emergency.
Second.
All those in favor of declaring that emergency, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move adoption.
Second.
Vote on the motion to adopt 2025-05. Heben?
Aye.
Owen?
Aye.
Tierney?
Aye.
Eckel?
You want a yes vote and you wore that sweatshirt? Aye.
Oberdorf? Toth?
Aye.
Okay, council remarks. Councilman Toth.
Thank you. I'd like to congratulate the Rossford Fire Department and the 8 members sworn in at the ceremony held at the high school on March 20th. I was glad to see the community come out to support them. I was very honored to be part of the ceremony and glad I was on stage to keep my emotions in check. It took us a while to get to this point, and I am glad that I was also a part of it along with my fellow council members who did the work to keep our fire department. I'd also like to thank all-around good guy Andrew Vasic for the wonderful job he did as acting chief, especially in a time of uncertainty. Again, Andrew, I thank you. I'd also like to thank Chief Soroka, Assistant Chief K, and Deputy Chief Eagling for allowing me to observe the first shift change this morning as we took another momentous step toward our goal of complete full-time department. I truly appreciate the community for your support and patience as we move forward to achieving our goal of making this a thriving, full-time department.
Mr. Councilman Overdorf.
Nothing, yeah.
Councilwoman Eckel.
I'd like to know if there's a reason to have a committee in the whole for April, or can I have a motion to suspend it? If not,
Motion to suspend.
Second.
All those in favor of suspending with the April Committee of the Whole meeting, please say aye.
aye.
Any opposed?
I'd like to congratulate Officer Sosi. He's good with kids. I don't know if you've ever got to see him in action, and he's just a great person for that position. And Officers Perez and Dean for helping out with the wrestling tournament. I don't know if anyone's ever witnessed what that is, but it's a lot. So I'm sure Jody was extra happy to have them there. And I want to congratulate the fire department. Momentous day, first shift with some 24-hour full-time staff. I was on stage, but it didn't help me keep my emotions in check, but that's all right. I just want to thank the chiefs for inviting us all to be a part of that ceremony, and it was really impressive, and I think we're taking off on a good first step, and I think everything is falling into place, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Councilwoman Tinney.
I'd also like to thank Chief Soroka for inviting us to be on the stage for that momentous occasion. It was very emotional for me also, and I'm so excited to see where we're going. Congratulate Officer Soshi. He's just wonderful with kids, and it was he deserves it. And anybody who can help control chaos on a wrestling tournament, most specifically Division III, hats off to them, and they did a great job. I heard that too, so thanks.
Councilman Owen.
I did volunteer at the wrestling tournament, and have to say, all the volunteers that were there did a great job. So shout out to everybody. Also, congrats to Officer Sosi. I know my children love seeing him all the time, and we are very lucky to have the resource officers that we do. It definitely makes me feel better about our community.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Okay, audience remarks. Motion to go into executive session.
Motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel.
Second?
All those in favor of going to executive session to discuss personnel per Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G1? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
See ya.